a special guest here with me today. This is Dave Nassaney, and he's going to share some insight on what it takes to be a good caregiver for your loved one. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sonora.
Yes, of course. So we cannot wait to hear your insight and advice.
First of all, I've been married to my beautiful wife, Charlene, for 48 years. And halfway through that, about 26 years ago, she had this headache for 3 days, and it turned into a stroke. And she lost her speech. She became paralyzed on one side. And in that moment, I suddenly realized I had something in common with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Hillary Clinton, Queen Latifah, and Henry Winkler, all caregivers. The next 2 years became a living hell for both of us, the grief process. And Charlene became angry and bitter most of the time at anything and everything. And we almost broke up, but we hung in there. We reinvented ourselves, and our love was rekindled. And today, I'm Dave, the caregiver's caregiver. I now host a nationally syndicated radio show heard on 75 channels, the Caregiver Dave Show. And I'm a best-selling author of It's Your Life Too, Thrive and Stay Alive as a Caregiver. And I've even appeared on 35 network TV shows, ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, all across the country, from Hawaii to Washington, D.C., just sharing my message to caregivers, how to prevent your loved one's illness or disease from killing you.
Yeah, that is a very good message. We can't wait for you to share it with us.
Well, there's three huge mistakes caregivers make. And the first biggest mistake caregivers make is they don't know how to put their needs first. Now, every time we go on a plane, what does the airlines tell us? In the event of an emergency, oxygen mask will fall. Put your mask on first before you help your loved one with their mask. Hello, what an amazing metaphor for all of life. Take care of you first, not out of selfishness, but out of survival. Well, the second biggest mistake caregivers make, they don't know how to ask for help. Now, everyone has one of these little things. It's called a cell phone. You turn it on, you punch in your number, and you talk. Hello, Mom. I need help. Grandma's driving me crazy. I mean, call your brother, call your sister, call your wife's ex-husband, call anybody, but get over that silly notion. If you can't do this all by yourself, you're a failure as a caregiver, because that attitude will kill you. The third biggest mistake caregivers make, they allow people just heap the guilt on them like they were stacking pancakes. Now, my favorite sitcom of all time, Sanford and Son. It's about this caregiver who constantly guilts his son, and it goes something like this. Oh, it's a big one. No, son, really, it's a big one. Elizabeth, I'm going to meet God. It's a big one. And Lamont would fall for that con every single time, and caregivers are the same way. It's like being handcuffed to your loved one for the rest of your life in caregiver prison with no possibility of parole. That kind of guilt will kill you. And that's why I came up with a CARE acronym. Communicate with your friends and don't isolate yourself. And ask for help. Be specific. And rest. Caregivers need 8 hours rest every single night. The average caregiver only gets 2. I can't survive on 2. Can you?
Wow, that's a shocking statistic.
And finally, eat healthy, nutritious food. Don't skip meals. Don't eat junk food. Junk food's got sugar, chemicals, processed ingredients. All that stuff will kill you. And that's why I wrote my book. And that's why I'm doing caregiver wellness retreats in Acapulco to help caregivers stay alive.
Wow, that is amazing. So, okay, you mentioned your book, that you just released. How can people get that?
It's everywhere books are sold. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever books are sold, and my caregiver website, caregiverdave.com. And I also have a 34,000 caregiver community on Facebook. Just go to Caregiver Dave. And like I said, the big thing I'm doing now is I'm helping caregivers stay alive by doing Acapulco vacations with coaching programs attached to them. So, it's like leading a horse to water, but, you can't always make them drink it. Caregivers give and give and give, and there's nothing left to give until they burn out. So it's a tough job because 30% of them actually die before their loved ones do. So I doubt whether I can help about 30% of caregivers because their mindset just isn't in a healthy place.
Yeah. Well, you are certainly doing all that you can. So do you have any final thoughts or messages or advice for those caregivers out there?
Well, people always ask, well, how's your wife doing? Well, she still can't talk, but she can communicate non-verbally through Pictionary, charades. And she still can't walk, but she has a power chair. And we literally travel the world, speaking to caregivers. We just got back from Acapulco for 3 weeks. And so my advice to caregivers is put your needs first. if my wife can do it, she can't talk, she can't walk, and she's got a smile on her face and joy in her heart, and people meet her and they say, oh my God, what am I complaining about? This woman can't talk or walk, and she's doing great. And so it's all about attitude.
Yes. Oh, great message there, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing all this information.
Thank